let's take a flight from Hong Kong to the United States, and boom, there's Ho Lun in the WWE. Everyone was not expecting it at all, at least in this side of the world, because when they announced the list of the competitors, we saw Ho Lun and we say like, wow, this I believe this was at the moment the only Chinese wrestler in the company. How do you felt, or how was it your experience wrestling at that point in the cruiserweight classic tournament?
Um, Let me tell you an interesting story first. I remember back in 2016 when they announced the first batch of Cruiserweight Classic competitors. That was April 1st of 2016. My friends in Hong Kong reading all this news and they thought, that's gonna be an April Fool. That's gonna be it. And then after a few days, they realized, that's the real deal. You want to put it in Spanish first?
Yeah, I want to say that because it is a funny story. Ho Lun menciona que cuando sale la noticia de que él iba a llegar a WWE en China y en Hong Kong, fue el 1 de abril del 2016, 1 de abril, April Fools. Y la gente pensaba que eso era una broma de mal gusto de alguien, pero no era una broma. Se trataba de algo real y Ho Lun estaba llegando a la WWE. You can continue now, sir.
Yeah. Where are we? The fans here, when they find out that's the real deal, they're excited about having a representative, a Chinese representative in America. By that time, I not only wrestle in Hong Kong, not only wrestle in China, but also a lot of places, Singapore, Thailand, I think Malaysia as well at that time. So people around Southeast Asia region show me a lot of supportive message that really warm my heart.
So I'm gonna say that in Spanish. En aquel momento dado, cuando él llega al Cruiserweight Classic en WWE, el fanático principal de China, de Hong Kong, se sentía identificado por primera vez en la empresa porque tenían a una persona nacida en su país llegando allá a representarlos. En aquel momento dado, él estaba compitiendo en lugares como Malasia, como Tailandia, como Singapur, y entonces recibió mucho respaldo de esta comunidad del sureste de Asia. Let's talk about WWE. You signed at one point with WWE, and that was the dream for all the wrestlers, and it is still the dream for many wrestlers. You achieved it. How do you felt when you were officially a part of the WWE NXT roster?
That's totally different from what I have experienced over the past. Because most of the time I'm on my own. I find my own ways. Some of the time I'm promoter, but in fact I didn't see much stuff other than wrestle for about a year in the UK and try to find ways here in Asia because there's nobody before us. I'm the first guy who's trying to do this in Asia, in Hong Kong. But once I get into WWE, the system, there's a lot of people, there's a lot of backstage stuff. Even for an NXT TV, that time NXT is not live yet. So there's TV taping. So there's one night they taped 3 to 4 episodes. So the things I've learned there, other than wrestling myself, was all this production stuff. How the camera angles work, how all this production, sound, how they call that, the LED screen, how all these supporting things to make the wrestler looks really good.
So I'm going to say this now in Spanish. Ho Lun menciona que cuando él firma con NXT en calidad de luchador, es algo completamente distinto a lo que había experimentado, porque nuevamente él era promotor y era luchador a la misma vez, pero antes de él y de su empresa no había nada de esto, esto era nuevo, ellos fueron los primeros en hacerlo. Entonces él estaba luchando en Reino Unido, estaba trabajando como promotor en China, en Hong Kong, en diferentes partes del mundo, y entonces llega allá a NXT, dice que es una experiencia sumamente valiosa, porque aprendió, más allá de sí ser luchador, aprendió muchas cosas sobre cómo producir un show, cómo producir el talento, y fue una experiencia excelente para él en ese aspecto. Let's talk about what happened in 2017. You requested your release from WWE, as far as we read at the reports that year on 2017. Why did you took the decision, the difficult decision at that point, to say, I cannot be a part of WWE roster? There were so many rumors, but we want to know what really happened in 2017.
I think what you read in the report are quite true. I remember back in about June or July 2017, I had a week holiday. So I went back to Hong Kong, see my family and things like that. My mother told me that she actually got cancer. So, after discussion with all my family members, I decided to, return to Hong Kong and try to spend more time with my mother. And very luckily, I've been spent 6-7 months with her in Hong Kong. That's the last stage of her life, which I have no regret at all. At the same time, after come back from the WWE to Asia, career-wise, that's a lot of media. I draw a lot of attention from the media. I also being able to encourage companies in Vietnam, in Thailand, in Philippines, encourage them to how to run pro wrestling shows, how to run a promotion, and also hands-on fly over there to help them, give them some advice, because I already made a lot of mistake when I first start, because nobody tell me what to do when I first start 10 years ago. So I think this sort of experience, I try to help them, to fast track their way to success.
So I'm going to translate this inspirational story to Spanish now. Ho Lun sale de la WWE en el año 2017 y sale porque se va de vacaciones una semana a su hogar en Hong Kong para ver a su familia, y ahí descubre que su mamá tenía cáncer. Su madre, la persona que más ama en el mundo, está enferma, y toma la difícil decisión, luego de hablar con su familia, de dejar su carrera en la WWE. Le solicita que lo dejen en libertad, la empresa le concede eso, y pudo estar los últimos 6 o 7 meses de vida, los últimos días de su mamá, junto con ella, y tiene cero arrepentimiento por ello, porque su prioridad era su familia, y lo hizo muy bien. Posteriormente, cuando llega a Hong Kong, nota que llama la atención de todo el media, de todos los medios de comunicación, y todo el mundo se preguntaba cómo este muchacho llegó allá, y entonces él y su trabajo allá inspira a personas y empresas en Malasia, en Singapur, en Vietnam, en el mismo mainland China, entre muchos otros lugares. Y su propósito en estos momentos es ayudarlos a los diferentes talentos y a las diferentes empresas a exponer su producto y a brindarle las herramientas correctas para que de igual manera puedan tener éxito sin tener que pasar tantas vicisitudes como pasarían otras personas. Let's talk about the creative process in WWE, Ho. You were there for a year. As you mentioned, the production value-wise you received there was amazing. But I wanted to talk about that creative process, both as a pro wrestler and as a producer at that point. What things did you learn over there? How can you describe the creative process in your time in the WWE?
In fact, I don't involve in a lot of creative process when I was in WWE. First of all, I'm not a main event over there, so I do not need a lot of creativity for myself. I actually wrestle how to say, I wrestle like who I am at first, you know, as a small guy. Well, in fact, I'm the smallest guy over there, almost the smallest guy, who have passion, who have no clue about what's happening in America. You know, that is me. That's my character. Just trying to get a victory in the ring, and don't know who I am, who my opponent is. They are much bigger than me. You know, trying to act some upset win over all these big guys. You know, but the attention to detail, all this producer about, even you do a really, really minor move, there's a meaning behind it. You know, that's when I was watching a lot of independent wrestling, you know, wrestlers do a lot of move which is unnecessary. The things I learned there is that everything you do, you must have a meaning.
Perfect. So let me translate that to Spanish. Menciona obviamente que no estaba envuelto en mucho proceso creativo porque era un luchador main eventer. No necesitaba tampoco mucha creatividad para simplemente ser él. Él era Ho Lun, un hombre pequeño, posiblemente el hombre más pequeño del roster, tratando de ganar una victoria. Entonces le ponía pasión a lo que hacía, pero principalmente era el hecho de que él aprendió que todas las movidas tienen un propósito, que hay mucha gente que hace movidas por hacerla, y por lo menos en WWE aprendió eso, el valor de cada movida.